Shalom. 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 I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Big ups to those who are laboring in this truth and sincerity. All right. All praises once again to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushua, for giving us this Holy Spirit to be able to do these lessons, to stay influenced, to live righteous lives and to push forth this influences, and big ups to the camp head priest Tawam Mayim, priest Karak Al-Kahan, priest Malakbar, priest Barbaz Al-Kabar, priest Rob Shapat, priest Zayafanat, priest of Kwanayan. Right. Big ups to them brothers, man. Shout out to the brothers pushing and, staying lively out here in these days, man, in these last days. I'm your Lockman off on the Shepherd of Bread Camp. All right. So, without further ado, man, entitled to sit down. You can catch more bees with honey than with vinegar. And pretty much, as the saying go, the honey is used to attract. Now, without further ado, let's just jump straight into it because this truth, all right. Let me jump straight into this scripture first. Sirach 6:5. It says, sweet language will multiply friends. See? So this truth is a sweet language. It's sweet. All right. That's why the scriptures say that, this truth, you eat the whole roll, is sweet to the mouth. Okay. Multiply friends. This truth, this book itself is the number one broad book, the Bible. All right. But sweet language will multiply friends within the truth because throughout all of the oppression going on in the world, the failures, you get more understanding on why stuff doesn't work. You get more understanding on the spiritual aspect that there's forces that's working against you. You get more in the aspect of, being more inclined to Yahweh Bashem Yahushua's way for you instead of the route and things that you might want to do. You accept those contracts, as Yahushua accepted the contract to come down here in a human form and, understanding, to perform his Father's will, So as we go through that process and that transition, this truth is sweet. It brings us more into a calm state. Most Jakes that are at war that you see is because they're in a great war. The scriptures speak of a great war of ignorance. So they're fighting, they don't like this about themselves. So people go to Dr. Miami. They don't like their life, the community that they're in. So they rob and steal. They, and not to say you don't work to get out of, your body. You could work out, exercise and stuff like that. Or, if it's community, you can, there's certain things you can do to the amount of ability that the Lord give you to do, so to speak. But the main point of this, Sirach 6:5, sweet language will multiply friends and a fair-speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. All right. Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. And that's it. We don't take on 1,000 doctrines, or this person, Buddhism, or this, that, and the third. And, the world, peace and world. No. All right. We are at peace with many because we are at peace with ourselves. If you meet a brother in the truth, oh, man, that brother's at peace. Wow, man. Because when you have this truth and you're going to be at peace with many because you're at peace with yourself. You understand Esau. See, we're not mad. We're going to call Esau the devil as it is. We're going to say that, call the things out that it is. But we're not mad. So we're not going to be mad like Jake, marching with Jake when we see Esau out there. No, we know the Most High is doing it. That's why we at peace. Jake is going to be protesting, marching and stuff like that, but we are at peace. Okay? Let me just do this real quick. Yeah, we are at peace. We got a peace of mind, man. Real talk. Okay? So it says, if thou will get us a friend, prove him first and be not hasty to credit him. All right? And that ultimately, that's the process of the truth, man. So it's sweet. It's going to multiply friends and you're going to be tried, You're going to be tried, of course, to know if this is, the this honey, this sweetness should be continuously given to you. All right. And the world is vinegar, it's sour. The rotten apple, Georgia peach, it's damn rotten peaches. You know what I'm saying? It's sour. Vinegar is sour. Okay. Vinegar only attracts. You use vinegar to is it going to repel against bees, but vinegar is used to damn near attract like fruit flies and shit like that. That's nothing that flies ain't that is a bad thing. Represents dead things and for bees. All right, produce honey. Sweet things. So, but the point again is to go into the aspect of this truth is a sweet thing. And why is it sweet? Now, let's go to Matthews 11:28. It says, "Come unto me, ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." See, when we speak on this truth, we're not selling a course. We're not saying, yo, you gotta, that's why when a lot of the Gentiles came in, all right, the truth through Yahweh Shai, okay, through Yahweh Shai, because that is the truth by way of the truth, was it because a lot of them men couldn't keep the laws. That's why we needed Yahweh Shah. So it's sweet to understand the Most High's mercy and his grace. Not that you should continuously break the law, but you got grace and mercy for the Most High to give you that understanding, because wisdom is going to walk with you in your crooked ways, and she's going to try you by your law. She's going to bring that fear and that dread upon you. That's what wisdom is going to do. Okay, wisdom is going to get you right. Essentially, everybody has their personal crash course. This is a one-on-one tutoring with wisdom, but it's sweet, okay, because this world has a no tolerance. Since the Esau first time offend, Esau throw your ass in jail. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no sorry or grace or that's the thing. Stay on your record. You will go for a job. You always got to bring this shit up, for the rest of your life. It's always popping up. So the point of the matter is that this truth right here, okay, it will give you rest. Okay, that's sweet, man. And and because is it that that's the sweetness of it, because it's going to attract those who are heavy laden, Jake, right, to come inside this thing. That's why the more hell we see that's going to happen in this earth, and the financial cut downs and cutting off the EBT, all of this stuff, you're going to see more that are going to fall inside of this fold, because this truth is going to give them a rest, a peace of mind, all right, to fall inside of, because this world is going to be chaotic. All right. That's why it says wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability at our times. Okay. All right. Take verse 29. Take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. All right. So the honey is for your soul. All right. And if I'm not mistaken, the scriptures say that honey, Salakia, honey for soul. Honey, I think it says a honey is strengthening your bones, or sweet to the soul. Okay. Yeah. Let me get this real quick. It's Proverbs 16:24. Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. See that? Kind words are like honey, sweet to the soul and healthy for the body. Okay? So again, it's comparing that, and it's saying what? It's that the honey is sweet to your soul. And honey is even good for your bones when you get into the thing for the benefits of Manuka honey, Manuka honey benefits. One of the benefits is that it strengthens your bones. See, Topical use of manuka honey enhance bone regeneration. Check that out. So your bones, it helps. It says creates a healthy environment for your bones to thrive. So check that out. It's healing to the bones. All right. She has been shown to prevent bone loss in various animals. All right. Via its high antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. So, just going back into honey, the things honey do. Okay. It says, take my yoke upon you and learn of me, for I am meek and lowly in heart, and ye shall find rest unto your souls. Verse 30, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. So it's not a hard task. Like this world gives you a hard task to keep up. You got to get 1,000. You got to keep your views up. You got to do this. You got to do that. The world will burn you out because you're always going to have somebody that's going to have something more than you or look better than you or sound better than you and things of that nature, because that's the nature of, the flesh in the world. Somebody's always going to be better. It's always something like that, All right. And at the end of the day, the Most High, Yahweh Shah, is not saying you have to do that, So that's a sweet thing, because you take care of yourself, of course. You know what I'm saying? You keep up in maintenance in His truth. You got to study. You got to, read. You got to, but it's sweet at the end of the day, because that's not a tough task to have to do. To study, to read, to talk to people about this truth, to vent, to pray to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. That should be that's light. It's joyous. It's uplifting. We just read it. It's sweet to the soul. Okay? Your soul is going to get rest. This is what it always needed. This is what it was always craving. Okay? It was getting burnt out by the actual ways of the world, because it's the ways of the world is out of grip. It's out of reach. It's slipping through your fingers. You just missed the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Anxiety, yo, it's, you know what I'm saying? Yo, what's going on? Yo, you're going to, yo, it's happening. You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, that's all just being done strategically to keep everybody on the hamster wheel and burn them out. Now you got to do what you got to do in this world, but it's going to be used to burn Jake out. You know what I'm saying? Jake speaking on so-called blacks, African Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, and, those who are scattered abroad. Okay. All right. This is not no color group doctrine thing. Nah. Jake is all over. Jake, out with the confusion of face, those scattered that may look like a so-called white person. Okay. All right. And, yeah. So, yeah, you got those who look like they successful, YouTube, but they're being burnt out themselves. And at the end of the day, whether anyone wants to identify themselves with saying they're a Hebrew Israelite or not, you're going through all the things that the Bible says. So whether you don't want to say you are or identify it with, that's where people go on a great war of ignorance, and they complain, and we're going to do political change and all of this stuff. And they don't understand that they basically are going to be dried out fighting an endless battle that's never going to end, because at the end of the day, the Most High is going to bring the peace. The Most High is going to do all of the warring and the actions and things of that nature. Of course, our work is to be aware of the sins and things of that nature, but going into those who are not in His truth, and they take it upon themselves to separate say, oh, how's that going to work? And they think they're going to do things cardinally to change it. And that's not how it's going to be shifted or moved. It's not. Okay. Let's get it. Yeah. So funny thing, Proverbs real quick, 15:1, a soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stirreth up strife. Right. Verse 2, the tongue of the wise useth knowledge of right, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. And that's what you see in this world. Foolishness being poured out. All right. And knowledge, the tongue of the wise is useth knowledge aright. Okay. All right. But the first verse said, a soft answer turneth away wrath. All right. These are soft answers that's turning away the wrath. All right. To repent unto the Most High. You know what I'm saying? You read about the scriptures about how Paul answered King Agrippa, and how Yahushua answered and responded and dealt with dealt with individuals, you know, who you see getting in the most wrath for extra these guys. The reason you don't going to see that with a brother in his truth. You're going to see that with a nigga in the world. You're going to see that with some political. Oh, man, this guy, he's for $6 million attack. Because y'all thought y'all could move like Esau and moving money and putting people onto contracts and stuff like that. And then y'all get caught out there. And slammed. Even though he's doing the same thing, you thought you was something different. You forgot you were Hebrew Israelite. You didn't know that you fit under these same point of views. You didn't know that. You thought you was something exotic. And it always happens. And it will continue to happen. Okay? But a soft answer turneth away wrath. You know, when a soft answer is that's honey. All right? It turns away wrath. Okay? It turns away that vinegar. It turns away the sour from happening. You know, it turns away sour moments from going into your life. You can diffuse situations. Yahweh Shah was diffusing situations. A woman getting stoned to death. Diffusing situations, man. He diffused the situation between us and the Most High. You know? All right? Because Yahweh Shah is the word. And the funny thing about that is Yahweh Shah, let's get that. Yahweh Shah actually took the vinegar. Let me get that. That's Matthew 27:34. They gave him vinegar to drink, mingled with gall, and when he had tasted thereof, he would not drink. Yahweh Shah took the vinegar, the sourness of Israel, all right, and gave off peace like the honey, all right, to bring us back unto Yahweh. Check that out. Yahweh Shah took the vinegar. He took the vinegar. He took the vinegar on. He took the sourness of this world. Okay? Yahweh Shah took that. All right? For us to be able to come inside of this truth. Okay? For you to be able to come inside this truth. You know, for you to be able to understand, to listen, to hear these words. That came through Yahweh Shah taking the vinegar, the sour part. The whole thing was sour. Taking on the cross. People calling you Beelzebub. You know? Those out there are seeking to put you to death, line you up, choosing Barabbas, a thief, a robber, a murderer, like Priest Rob said, you know, over the son of the Most High. You know, not just a son of Yahweh, the only begotten son. First made. You kidding me? So, and all right. And yeah. All right, so the honey, all right, the sweetness of Yahweh Shah is how we able to come inside of this truth. All right. That's why the kingdom, it also says, well, a land that floweth with milk and honey, you know, and that thing is going to be enriched because the nation is going to become steady coming in to drop off gifts. Then they got to follow the service on the Sabbath. Okay, all of that's going to be happening in that land. Okay. All right. Let me get two more precepts. Psalms 119 and 103. Yeah, I wrote this. It's like honey is sweet. Honey, sweet as mercy. That's a sweet thing when you get the mercy of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah. Okay. Why you think people come inside of this truth? Because Jake know they need mercy. Jake know they need mercy, not mercy to keep going and doing the bullshit. Jake need mercy. To come in this truth is to say, to come to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shah, brother. I'm telling you that is why we come inside of this truth. We want to, we talk about this a lot. All right. You're going to hear this a lot. Clone Tyrone. When you watch that show, Clone Tyrone, and you study the behavioral patterns in that movie, and you notice that is a captivating environment. It is a captivating environment. All right. And when you watch it, captivating environment, meaning that it holds you captive. You're not hugging the block. The block is hugging you, nigga. I'm more emotional. I hug the block. No, the block is hugging you. The block is hugging you. The block is holding you. When you really realize the project, the environment, and when you realize that, man, our conversations on how we speak, the language, the woman we gravitate to, the friends we gravitate to, the jokes and everything, you know, how we don't want to be fully educated and go, and then again, we don't talk about this man's society. I'm just saying in this essence of the hood, not to say that that's the outlet. We know through Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, that's the outlet, okay? But when you watch that movie and that show to see what makes a nigga, those are all the factors. They just factory producing niggas. And when you understand that, you understand that this is a mercy to be able to break outside of that realm and to be chipped away at that old nigga every day. Because it don't just go away, but your mind, as you got to think about it. It's the same thing with Abraham. The Most High pulled him out of the clone Tyrone effect of the motherfucking, Mesopotamia. That was clone Tyrone. In the first clone Tyrone was fucking the Ur of the Chaldees, worshiping other gods, bullshit, and same shit. Same shit. That's why when you watch the movie The Book of Clarence, it's heavy because they show you clone Tyrone niggas back then. Okay, he over here then. Okay, Jake betting on the horse. Okay, Jake selling weed. Jake getting high. Jake trying to get some. It's the same shit. Boy, it's the same thing. So the honey is why it's sweet. Is why we pulled inside of this. It's like, that's why when you get it, you tell everybody about it. And people not understanding it. Oh man, what are they talking about, man? Oh man, all they talk about is this and that. No, that's a sweet thing to know that, the Most High setting up a kingdom for you. That's sweet. That's a sweet thing to know that this ain't your end all be all. So you think that this is supposed to just be our end all be all for the rest of life? Niggas got to be. Only thing we got is hip hop, jury, what they call them? Not veneers. The first things that people, damn, what them shit's called? Fuck. Grills, hip hop, grills, BBLs, right? Hip hop, grills, BBLs. Different hoods got different shit. Niggas. I'm gonna just stick with those three: hip hop, grills, BBLs. And this is what they consider for the culture, nigga. Okay, so that's that basically we capped at that. And then the dudes that don't grow up in the hood, then the next one, they gotta stay away from it. So now they grow up underneath Esau's ass, all right? And they talk. They got a whole man, they voice, everything's different. And at the end of the day, it's like they don't got no. It's bro. All I'm saying is that why? Who wants to just be going through the same process and seeing the same process over and over? Jake, you got to see Jake in poverty. You got to see Jake going for the jobs. 1,000 Jake showing up at the job. You got to see job fair. You got to see Jake. It's Jake. It's not everybody. It's Jake. Okay. Just venting a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's why this thing is honey, because it's sweet. That's why you're gonna have more people that's gonna gather. And we're Psalms 119 and 103. Let's get that. It says, "How sweet are thy words unto my taste, yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth." So actually, the words is sweeter than honey. Okay. Let me check this in. Is honey used to gather bees? All right, they ain't giving me a straight answer on it, but we know bees, because back in the day, And we say back in the day, because you barely see bees. If you spilt something sweet on the floor, the bees is going to go to it. It's like they got a sweetness sensor on them, you know? So just imagine the honey, you know, it says beekeepers keep bees to collect honey and other products of the hive, beeswax, propolis, bee pollen, and royal jelly. So, yeah, they collect honey. So obviously, yeah, honey spilled, the bees going to start collecting it. You know, it's sweet. They know they know that's something sweet. They're not going to be gathered to anything sour. All right, vinegar or the lowness of the world, griminess. All right, when you start moving grimy, okay, is people gonna it's gonna move back. Yahweh Shai didn't move grimy. Yahweh Shai came plain. All right, said things plain. He spoke to those in parables because when he said it plainly unto them, they ain't believe him anyway. He said, yo, I did say this plainly unto y'all. So I speak to y'all in parables because it ain't meant for y'all to get it. Y'all ain't gonna get it. And I'm telling you plainly already, you know. But anyway, yeah, because Jake didn't get it. And yeah, you know, unless, yeah, but that's another segment to go into. Anyway, Psalm 119 and 103, how sweet are thy words into my taste, okay? Yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. So these words is sweeter than honey to King David's mouth. And it is when you're doing the build. When you're getting into a lesson in the spiritual, it's sweet, man. That's why brothers be on there for 5 hours. Brothers be out there preaching for this many hours. This truth is a sweet thing, man. Gives you a sane mind. You calling on the name of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You're doing things purposeful for the one moment in your life, because other than that, you either laughing, joking, taking a shit, taking a piss, laying up, farting. That's the behavior you're doing, having sex, driving, mindless behavior, lifting up a weight, putting it down, grunting, sighing, yelling. This truth is the only thing you're gonna do. Some connectivity into not another highly spiritual realm and connect with Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? And then ultimately be at peace. And not mad about your life situation and things that is set up. And at the end of the day, we know we take, because dudes think, oh man, you guys are not taking no responsibility. Yeah, of course. Of course, that's why we come inside of this truth. We take full accountability and responsibility for the things we did. And that's why we appreciate Yahweh Shai. We understand that we made the wrong decisions. We understand that we've, made mistakes. We understand that this nation, went off. We understand that. That's why we're in captivity. We're not warring with that. We're taking full responsibility. But we understand that we need Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. We pray. That's why it says to become a new creature. That's a sweet thing. To be able to become a new creature. Y'all the same old niggas. Y'all just the same old eloquent, y'all just some uppity same old niggas. Y'all the same. Y'all can't change. You care about yourselves and this and you try to separate yourself with the degrees and all of this shit, for some of you, not all, but the point of the matter is that we take on the actual we take accountability. Okay. We take the accountability. All right. And that's why, all right, it says, how sweet are thy words into my taste. Yea, sweeter than honey to my mouth. Because that accountability, all right, when King David, he took accountability. Psalms 50th chapter, when he made his mistakes, he took accountability. But, when he was taking his accountability, saying he went off, he was getting this. It was sweet to understand that, wow, he was born in sin. This is, that we living in a sinful nature. You know what I'm saying? And we need, the grace and mercies of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And you ask the Most High to purge those things out of you. That's a beautiful, that's a sweet thing when the Most High can help develop you. Okay? Psalms 51 and 1. Have mercy upon me, O Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, according to thy loving kindness, according unto the multitude of thy tender mercies, blot out my transgressions. That's sweet when you can call upon the name of the Lord And now we're not saying you just do that and oh yeah, you blot it out and then go ahead and do some other shit. No, you acknowledging that you, verse 2, you need to be cleansed. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sins. A whole new mindset, a whole new reboot. That's a beautiful thing. That's sweet. You see, that's taking accountability to know that I have some issues within me, right? And I need your help, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, to uproot that up out of me, right? Verse 3, for I acknowledge, that's accountability, my transgressions and my sin is ever before me. So how y'all gonna come at the, say, oh, yo, y'all, nah, this is, how you gonna say that, I seen the video, Apostle Hall put the video with the dude, Saint Center, put it up there. He's such a bug out. He just, what it is that Jake, what it is that the man, he's just fulfilling his lot and his role. And I ain't even, at the end of the day, we get tired of seeing niggas like that. But at the same time, we got this truth is sweet enough to understand that not all Israel is of Israel. And not everybody gonna get it, and we understand the lots and roles that people gonna play out. Maybe he might see it later on. Maybe he may not never. Maybe he just set up during that time to push forward and separate himself and try to expose. And that's why the apostles say don't go on these dudes' platforms. But you know what I'm saying. But that's a sweet part of the truth is understanding that too. Okay, because it looks like a sour situation. You're like, damn, it's goofy, But anyway, verse 3. For I acknowledge my transgression and my sin is ever before me. Verse 4, against thee only have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest and be clear when thou judgest. In verse 5, behold, I was shapen in iniquity and in sin that my mother conceived me. See? All right? That's a sweet thing to understand, bro. When you realize that, okay, because if not, you'll be depressed. Niggas will be depressed. Yeah, because once you take the accountability, right? Once you take the accountability and you like, damn, I messed my life. Like I seen a 40-year-old woman, she just had a breakdown. Yeah, you can go out and try to, recoup and get back, go to school and, regrade. You can try to do those things. But the main thing is that this truth is sweet to you because at the end of the day, verse 6, behold, thou desirest truth in the inward parts. When you get that understanding, you can let go from those things, You can it's not saying that, okay, you don't work on yourself, but you can let go from them things where it won't trouble you to make you, hey, you got niggas that kill themselves, man. That's what I'm getting at. Nigga life, you realize, damn, I fucked up, I can't. Nigga crash out, This truth, it's just sweet. It'll give you understanding. Oh, okay. Wow, we shaping an inequity. Okay, I understand what's going on. I made these bad decisions, but it was going to lead me unto Yahweh Bashim Yahushua to repent. If I didn't make these decisions, I wouldn't be in this. I wouldn't be in this scenario. I wouldn't have learned. I wouldn't be out here prophesying. I wouldn't be out here teaching. So ultimately, throughout all the situations, it produces something good. And that's why this truth is sweet, because you'll be able to see that aspect. But if you don't, then that's when you take on that vinegar. That shit is sour. All right. And in the hidden part, thou shalt make me to know wisdom. See, verse 7, purge me with hyssop and I shall be clean. Wash me and I shall be whiter than snow. That's a sweet thing, bro, when you could pray to the Most High to get you right. Who that's going to be able to get Jake mentally right? Everybody say, yeah, go to school. Yeah, get your life together. Do this, do that. Bro, if a person inside is messed up, like a Puff Daddy, what can they change? Even if they got all of that, they could lose it in a second. All right? Or they could never, they could lose it. They could still be corrupt inside. That's not salvation. Money has never been a salvation. Money is just going to only enhance. They could be even more depressed, you'll see. You got people that get certain situations, influence, and they commit suicide. They're killing themselves. People who, did time in jail, got out, and then still killed themselves and killed the family. Like, damn, they got to start fresh at life. No, it's a lot of shit that that had to be purged out of them within. All right. Spiritually. Verse 8. Make me to hear joy and gladness that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. And that's the point. These words, okay, will lift you up from out of the pits of depression. And that's going to make you, that, see, you ain't motivated to do nothing or do anything is because, you weighing yourself into compared to the world. And you like, man, I ain't got no effect. I ain't shit. Look at the way this world moving. Niggas is streaming. Niggas is a nigga streaming is like a nigga walking on the water. you just walking on the ground. Niggas is walking on water, walking. Using niggas is doing shit. Niggas is walking on water. Flying on the wind. Every time the wind blow, a nigga just going up in the air. You see him, you like, damn, these are new set of niggas out here. I ain't shit. I'm an old dinosaur nigga, And when you compare yourself to them niggas, hell yeah, man, that shit gonna have your ass in a deep dark dungeon because you like, damn, I ain't got this. I can speak for myself. I ain't qualified for a lot of things in a worldly aspect. That's not to say that it can't get qualified or you can't go back to school and finish things off. But the point of the matter, this is the main point. Okay, make me to hear the joy of the gladness that the bones which thou hast broken may rejoice. This truth is sweet. It gives you to go back out there and realize that your main mission, okay, is to live a righteous life. Yeah, you work on all that stuff, but your main mission, you don't tear your whole life down because of that. Nah, your main mission is to be righteous. And before you know it, just like Joseph was made a warden while he was a prisoner in jail. You moving righteous and you got an upbeat spirit, all it takes is for the Most High to put the right person to see that in you and be like, yo, I like what you got. I don't give a fuck that you don't got this, that, and the third. Here, come run this for me, or come, handle it, or come work out, or whatever the case may be. That's just how the Lord will do things. The Lord will operate that way. You know what I'm saying? It takes a upbeat spirit. It takes to be outside of this box, though, which this box that we're in, but we're not from that realm, and we got to leave that realm when we go into the scriptures.